Here's 9.1, circles and parabolas. Objectives. This video, you can pause to read them, but this video is only going to cover the first 2 bullets. Part 2 will cover the remaining bullet. Vocabulary key concepts in the same manner. Part 1 is only going to cover these 3 vocabulary key concepts. Part 2, the remaining. Standard form of a circle and parabola. Here's the circle, you should be familiar. Center HK, radius R. Then you have parabola. This is with the vertex at HK opening up when the P is greater than 0, P is less than 0 opening down. To the right when P is greater than 0, when it's less than 0 to the left. And let me remind you that the focus is always inside the parabola or wrapped around, or the parabola wraps around the focus. So it will be somewhere around here. Let's move on to the next slide. Find the equation of the circle with the given characteristics. Center at the origins and radius 4 radical 2. So I can use this since the center is 0, 0. They give me the radius, so I plug it into the formula. I simplify what you see here. And I get this as my answer. Number 2, a little bit different. Now they give me the center and a point on the circle. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this information. Since I already know the center, I'm going to use this other piece of information to find the radius. So I do the following. I'm going to substitute the h and the k, and along with the x and the y, which is the point. And it looks something like this. I simplify this equation even more, and I get r squared equals to 113, which gives me my r. But since I want an r squared in my equation, I leave it alone. This is my answer. Number 3, write the equation of the circle in standard form, then identify the center and radius. So in standard form, I somehow need to get rid of that 9 over 2 in front of the x squared and the y squared. So what I do is I multiply left and right by 2 over 9s, and this is what I get. From here is basically in standard form. I should be able to identify the center and the radius. Number 4 is a little bit different. Now notice that I have 10x and negative 6y along with that 25. So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to rewrite them the following way. Pair up the variables next to each other. Bring over the 25 to the other side. And then I'm going to add something here and something here, which is 25 and 9. Basically what I'm doing is completing the square. Now I can just add 25 and 9 to the left side of the equation. I also add them to the right side of the equation. At this point, I factor this. This is what I get. And then I end up with 9 on the right hand side. So my center is 5, 3. The radius is 3. Next slide. Same directions as previous slide. Looks a little bit more different. Follow along. I rewrite the variables right next to each other, x's and y's. Then what I do is I pull out a 9 out of, excuse me, let me get a pen, out of these 2 terms, and this is what I get. I put a 9 out of these 2 terms and I get this. Then I am going to complete the square again. I add 9, I add 4, and then I can add just like on the previous problem, I can just add 9 and 4 to one side. Since it's an equation, I need to add to the other side. But technically it's not 9 nor 4. It's actually 9 times 9, which is 81, and 4 times 9, which is 36. You should have seen something like this in Algebra 2. So let's continue. Factor, simplify, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 9. And this is the standard form of the equation of the circle. So now I should be able to come up with the center and the radius, which is there. Let's go to the next slide. says find the intercepts of the graph of the circle. So we're looking at x squared plus 8x plus y squared plus 2y plus 9 equals 0. First, let's find the y-intercept. So I'm going to set x equal to 0. If you remember, x equal to 0 to find the y-intercept. So this is what we get once I plug in x equals 0 into my equation. I try to factor this, and it gives me no real solution. So that's why there's no y-intercept. Now let's find the x-intercepts. So I'm going to set y equal to 0. And notice that the y's are gone, and I'm left with this expression. I work with this. What I'm going to do is let me erase this, complete the square. So I move the 9 to the other side, complete the square, I add 16 to both sides. Factor this, add this, I get 7. Take the square root of both sides, I get the following. Solve for x. Once I have x, I know that my x-intercepts are going to be what I have here, comma 0. So it crosses the x-axis at 2 points. Different problem says find the standard form of the equation of the parabola with the given characteristics and vertex at the origin. So this is where my vertex is. This is my focus. Keep in mind that the parabola wraps around the focus, so I can sketch something that looks like this. So I know that this parabola is opening to the right, and not only that, the p is equal to 5 over 2. So I use the appropriate form, which is the y squared equals 4px, since it's opening to the right. I plug in again, the center, the hk is 0, 0, so that's why I have this expression. And then I plug in the p in here, I simplify, and this is my answer to number 7. Let's go to number 8. Set directions, different information. The focus is 0, 1. So if I graph it is there, again the vertex at the origin. So I know that this is opening up because the parabola wraps around the focus. Then opens up, the p is equal to 1. Again, the p is the distance from the vertex to the focus, which is, if you look at this distance, is 1 unit. So then I know it opens up, so I use this form, x squared equals 4py, substitute the p, and I get the following, simplify, and this is my answer. Here's number 9, same directions as the previous one. So in this case, they give you the directrix. With the directrix and the fact that the vertex is at the origin, we should be able to find where the p goes on the graph. Let me get a pen, which is right here. Since it's opening, this is the directrix. The parabola opens on opposite to the directrix, so it looks like this. The distance from here to here is 3, so the distance from the vertex to the focus is 3 units. So that's why I'm here. So I know that the p is going to have to equal -3 since it's opening to the left. So then, this is what I have. I use the right form, and then I plug in the p equals -3, and then this is my answer. Next. Same directions. Now here you're given the axis symmetry is vertical, and it passes through the point -3, -3. Again, vertex is here. Axis symmetry, so it's reflected about this line. The fact that is we have this other point, you know it opens down. So the sketch looks something like this. Excuse my parabola. Since it opens down, I have this, and it passes through this point, which is an x value and a y value. What I do is I substitute for x here and y here, and that's going to allow me to find the p, go through the steps, and this is what I get. Now that I know the p, I plug it in here, and this is, once I simplify, this is my answer. Here's 11. Find the standard form of the equation of the parabola with the given characteristics. Notice in this case the vertex is no longer at the origin. So if you were to sketch the information, this is what you have. Get a pen. So notice that the distance from the vertex to the focus is 2, but since it's opening down, it's -2. So that's why we have the following. Then I plug this information into the appropriate form. And again, this is the form when HK is not 0, 0, the origin. Then at this point, you substitute your vertex, your P, you simplify, and this is the answer. Let's move on to number 12, last one. Same directions. Here I give you the focus and also the directrix. Sketch the information. Since the directrix is at x equals 1 and the focus is here, you know it's going to be opening to the left. Now, half the distance from the focus to the directrix is where you find the vertex, which is here. So that's what we have. Something that looks like that. So the vertex is here, which is -2, 1. So then, you know that the P is equal to -3. The distance from the vertex to the focus is 3, but since opening to the left is negative. And the vertex, like I have shown you, is -2, 1. Plug the information into the right formula. Excuse me, the right form. Your vertex, your P, and then simplify, and this is the answer. And this concludes the video, and also this is the end of part 1. You're not responsible part 2. Part 2 is next time that I see you.